Welcome back to Beholder to One Shot. We are here today to do a part 2 of Call of Cthulhu. Part 1 was over on Four Corners. I will have the link down below, so go check out part 1, otherwise you're probably going to be a little confused. There's a smidgen. But we are here today with Alex and Paul from Four Corner Games. Paul will be the keeper.
Hello, hello.
Hello!
And then Andy and Nick from PlayQuest Pod.
Hello.
Hi, it's me.
It's Andy.
And yeah, I will let you take it away, Keeper.
All right. So, like Nikki said, if you haven't listened to the first part, you should probably go do that. There isn't a ton of continuity between these two except for the characters, but there was a lot of good fun role-playing and such in the first episode, so go check it out. And now for the fun stuff, rolling for skill improvements and rolling for luck. Technically, you don't roll for luck at the beginning of every new session, but because we thought it was just going to be a single one-shot, people blew through it like it's going out of style. So may give people the option to re-roll luck if they would like to. So we'll start with Alex.
Do you roll 3 or do you roll 4 and then take the best 3?
Just 3d6.
Oh, goodness. Well, I can't do worse than that. I shouldn't say that. Okay, not bad. 11. So 55.
There you go.
A stark improvement from the 20 I had left over from last time.
All right. And then we'll run through luck for everybody, and then we'll just go through each character for their skill improvements.
For skills, yeah.
Yeah, and then we'll get going. So, Nikki, do you want to re-roll for luck?
I re-rolled and got one more than what I had before. So I had
Like-
65.
Rad.
All right. Nick?
Yep, let's see. Oh, that was an amazing roll. I got 2 6s and a 5.
Jeez.
So
I think
12.
that's 85. 85
Uh,
is
yeah.
85.
Jesus.
I'll take it for my 45. Yeah. So I also got to now give major props. So I think I mentioned earlier that my wife started playing D&D, and so for Christmas, her brother got her a bunch of dice and a very nice leather dice tray, and I'm using that right now, and so it's all that. Thank you.
Just stealing all your wife's luck.
Yeah, totally. I'm gonna roll it out before we play again next week, and then these are gonna be lame. She's
I think
gonna
those
fail.
dice are weighted.
Yeah.
Then the luck should hold things for next week.
All right. And Andy,
Definitely. So basically, you roll 3d6 and you multiply it by something?
by 5, yeah. To get
By
your
5.
luck.
Ooh. Well, I got a 14 by 5, so that's going to go to a nice round, I believe, 70.
Yeah. Nice.
Ooh.
Everybody got some
There
pretty
you
good luck out of that.
Except Brandon.
Hey, Lorenzo needs it.
Yes, he does. All right. And then we will go back to Alex's character, Brandon, and do some skill improvements. So let's just go down the line.
All right. So how do I roll skill improvements?
So whatever your current value is, so let's say your dodge, for example, is at 60. You roll a D100. If you get above it, then you can roll for an improvement.
Oh.
So it's
okay.
the opposite.
Right, because if you're better at something, it's harder to get even
Improved,
better.
yes,
Gotcha,
exactly.
Okay. So my dodge is at 40, so I'm going to roll.
Point of clarification.
Yes.
So this is only for skills that you were successful at? Or
No,
any
it's
skill?
any skill that you attempted in the previous session.
All right, dodge. I rolled above dodge.
There you go. So then you roll a d10 and you add that value to your current skill.
All right. 1.
There you go. So now you have a 41 dodge.
All right, perfect.
And then, yeah, just go down the
Nice.
line with that and
Cool. So
good to go.
I think we all probably can be going on this, and then we can tell everyone what we improve along the way.
Yeah. So I'll just have to trust the other 3 of you that are not in front of me, but
So I'm loving this already. I didn't learn my mistakes. I didn't learn from any of my mistakes last time about dodging, but I did get better at magic tricks.
Well, it's in life-threatening
sleight of hand.
Oh yeah, fish people. What about this?
Is this your card?
As we're being eviscerated.
All right, so I am increasing my charm.
So
Oh.
charming. My pilot boat just got better, so I'm sure that's going to be handy. I have no doubt. I will use that again.
Zoology.
Well, my listening skills didn't get better either. I am still a pontificator and a charlatan.
My spot hidden did not go up.
Yeah, it was 65. There was like no way that was going to get better. 9. My listen got significantly better. 20 to 29. I'll take it.
I was thinking I was going to improve my firearm skills, but then I realized I dropped the gun.
That's right. You dropped it like down the spiral staircase at the lighthouse, and then you went down there to get it and got attacked.
So I hope this isn't a sign for the rest of the game, but I successfully failed all 5 that I rolled. So my listen, fast talk, and spot hidden went up by 9. My occult went by 3, and my appraise went up by 2.
Okay.
Wow.
And I don't think I ever shot a firearm, so I don't think I can.
You did. You
You
yeah.
definitely did. Yeah.
You definitely
did.
You backed me up.
You definitely-
Well, then I will do firearms as well,
Fingers
or
crossed.
handgun. Okay.
Yes. Yeah, the only time when failing.
It
roll
goes
is
up
actually-
by 1.
Oh, well, maybe that'll be the exact threshold you need
There you
to
go.
save someone's life, specifically Capini's.
If it makes you feel better, you just increased your hard success and. Oh no, wait, 'cause it's 2 and 5. I was thinking 3. Okay, never mind.
Well, I've even gotten better at watch tricks, too.
Finally. Impressive, Capini.
Oh yeah, my pilot boat wasn't working at all. That's what it was.
Yeah.
1D.
Yeah, if you go through the chat,
I
it's just
failed.
a bunch of bars that say pilot boat over and over again.
Yeah.
Okay. So my boating goes up by 2.
Anything useful for Capini did not improve. Anything that was a sideshow did improve.
Nice.
Like regained some of his former talents. He's gotten a little better at that.
Turns out that getting bitten by an Eldritch Terror actually gives you a little bit of magical flair.
Huh, that's fair.
Street cred.
Wins.
Street cred.
One stupid question. I did take 3 points of damage, so can I roll for a first aid? Can I heal something? Or now I'm just a guy with a limp?
Yeah. So the way damage rolls or works in this is after you take damage, I think if you succeed in a first aid check, you can heal 1 point. And then if you succeed in a medicine check, which takes an hour of time to do, you can heal up to 3 points, I think.
1d3.
Yeah, I think it's a 1d3, so you have to roll for it. So I can't remember if you immediately did a first aid after you got attacked, or if you just straight up took 3 points. I don't recall,
I don't remember either.
but I will tell you that it's going to be kind of a moot point right now. So
I will roll for both.
If we need to first aid medicine you, we'll do it on the fly.
I have a handgun of heal.
It's gonna seem really shocking. You're gonna hear it go off, but you're gonna feel better.
Are you a horse doctor?
Is that Lysol?
It's
a
gonna
handgun
spray it
of
right in the
healing. Heals everything.
99.9% of all germs.
and people if you drink enough of it.
That's right.
Don't drink Lysol.
Okay. Is everybody just about done? Or
I'm ready to
yeah,
go.
I'm good. I've got mine. Sorry, I didn't. I rolled pretty well on most of mine. I'm even more handsome and charming than I was before, which is
I'm good.
pretty great.
you rolled to improve your appearance?
You don't. It doesn't have to improve. Just everybody notices me more now. It's more radiant.
I improved my dodge to 41. I improved my handgun to 54
There you
from
go.
50, so I'm pretty happy with that. My listen's now 29, and my pilot boat is 25. Everything else I failed.
Okay.
I did beat my pilot boat. It's up to 50. I didn't do my spot hidden. My listen went up, which is nice, quite a bit, to 33.
Nice.
And my zoology went up as I encountered
Ooh.
terrible, horrible things. That's 66.
That may actually exist.
Yeah.
All right. Andy, quick summary of your skill improvements.
Basically, the quick story is that I'm better at watch tricks. I'm better at sleight of hand. Might be able to fool maybe preteens instead of just kids. But in the long story of things,
You've conquered puberty. Magic's greatest enemy.
but in the long story of things, I can't listen any better. I can't dodge any better. And I know nothing more of the natural world than I did before. But strangely now, I know a little bit more about the occult, particularly fish people.
Okay. That may or may not come in useful for this second one shot. And Nikki.
I got better at listening, fast talking, occult, spot hidden, appraise, handgun, and boat.
Early on. Okay, perfect. Excellent. All right. Well, now that we've got the
I would like to say that I like that there's a skill called credit rating, and I wish I could just roll for that in real life to improve it.
Yours is probably like really high, right? Because it's like actually business probably.
It's not terrible, but it's not like the best. It could be like a 90.
Oh, that's pretty low. I mean, you should be aiming for at least 700.
Yeah.
I don't think you get below.
She just filed through bankruptcy. It is what it is.
Yeah.
She pays for everything in cash anyway, so it's moot. Yeah. So the credit rating actually, a lot of like vendors and stuff inside the game actually roll it kind of secretively to kind of judge people based on their appearance to see if they like even want to give you the time of day by trying to sell stuff to you, like they think you have money.
Right.
So there's some stuff for how that's applicable, but all right, you guys ready? You want to get into this?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's bring it up.
All right.
The greatest magic show on earth.
So we begin shortly after where we left off. You had barely escaped the clutches of the raging water as your rowboat steered your way up to the quarry, where you found some construction offices. Fortunately, you found one that had its light on. By sheer luck, the quarry foreman happened to be working late that night, possibly stuck in by the impending storm, or maybe just getting a head start on the work week. You pound on his trailer door looking for respite, and there's no immediate answer. The wind is whipping and howling around you, still pouring rain. He might attribute it to a big gust of wind. You're not quite sure. You pound again, and you hear a chair loudly scoot, and you hear a few footsteps, and then the door swings open, almost caught by the wind. And his eyes open wide, and he looks at you with surprise, and he says, "My God, are you all right?" And he kind of like scoops his hand, like gesturing you guys to come inside.
Yes, shelter, please. Thank you. Dr. Ritter will hurry over there. He's got work to do. He's already pulling out some books and things.
Yeah, I'm thinking I'm going to take out my gun, maybe like usher everyone inside, pointing it at the ground, kind of just looking in the far distance, looking around us to see if there's anything coming for us.
I was like, Jesus, dude.
Slow down.
Yep. Pump the brakes.
No.
I
was gonna go and be like, "I'm the great Capini. I'm wounded. Give me aid."
So everybody gets into the construction trailer, and he rushes off into one of the back offices and is able to scrounge together a blanket or two and some towels, and starts kind of passing them out to you guys. And then after he hands you guys the towels and the blankets, he goes back into the back office, and you can hear him jump on the phone as he starts to dial.
I'm gonna take out a cigarette. They're probably waterlogged in my pocket, but I'm still gonna try and light one. Hands probably shaking. Still trying to maybe get over what's happening.
I'm going to look around the place just because we're all on edge a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it seems like an honest, just construction quarry office. You see a large map up on the wall that kind of shows the plan of the quarry, and some pins where current excavations are happening and that sort of thing. There's blueprints on a table, and he's just been kind of working on his normal stuff.
Is there a pad of paper and a pen that's maybe out that I can grab?
Yeah, there's plenty of that stuff around.
Yeah, I'm gonna grab it. I'm gonna start just jotting down bullet points, like what happened to the agent I was looking for, what I experienced, the lighthouse, the trip back, just so I have a kind of a cohesive narrative to give back to my field office when I report back to him.
Yeah.
Well, I like that.
Yeah, and like terms of trauma too, like jotting it down before your brain just like shuts off.
Yeah, especially with what we saw.
Yeah.
So I think I might see you doing that. So I've probably Dr. Ritter has gone over to whatever is like maybe the nearest table and brightest light source, and has begun like furiously writing and drawing in a notebook. And so if he sees you doing something, he's like, perhaps we should compare notes, officer. And agent, is it maybe? I'm sorry. He's like smoking a pipe too and getting into a kind of furious state. And I think he's sketching these monsters that we saw, and is grubbily like muttering to himself about publishing a paper about this. Definitely not a duck. Was not a duck.
I'm sitting here thinking we don't have many of our personal effects. We just barely got with this, with just the clothes on our backs, right?
Yeah, I think Dr. Ritter still kind of had his leather satchel that had some of his books and stuff. But yeah, I mean, when you guys were on the boat in the first place, you kind of didn't really have a whole lot of possessions. Like Capini, you were there just to perform magic, so you really didn't have anything on your person.
No.
So
and I lost my Derringer, so it's like I'll see. And so Capini is sitting there looking in his pockets and finds maybe his old deck of playing cards and has begun just playing a game of solitaire to pass the time.
Okay. And what is Hazel doing? Still kind of just like poking around, looking and.
Yeah, she's just kind of looking around for now, and then when she sees the deck of cards come out, she goes, you want to play some blackjack? No money. Just for a distraction.
Why, sure. The great Capini will always entertain a guest.
And she's got to keep an eye on him for any type of shifty business.
Yeah, sleight of hand checks. It's like, oh, pocket aces again. Oh my god.
It's not for money, but he's still going to do it to seem cool.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
As we're looking over notes, Brandon, you know what's fun and cool that I hope never goes away? And I take a big puff of my pipe, and smoking inside.
I can't imagine it'll ever go away. I mean, honestly, so many bars and casinos and maternity wards rely on the ability.
I'd be able to sleep if I couldn't just have a good puff of tobacco indoors, somewhere among friends, whenever I wanted.
I wholly agree. And additionally, I also hope that at no point in time does something significant come along to replace the warm reading nature of books. Because if there's like, I don't know, say
a good book and a piece of paper, the way it feels between your fingers, it's very important.
The future holds nothing but exactly what we experience today and nothing more.
Yeah, and if it did hold something worse, it'd probably be just sin.
Yeah, probably.
Just beyond this, just something awful and sinful that would be a bad thing to partake in.
Yeah, as the good Lord Spaghetti Monster has seemed to grace, I agree with that sentiment. Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
What the fuck is happening?
Just a bit. You can cut this if you want.
No, that was great. So while you guys are kind of getting settled in and gathering your wits and documenting the last 12 hours or so, or however long it's been, you hear the foreman. He's back there for maybe a couple minutes, 2 minutes, and he kind of rushes back out and he tells you, I've called for some transportation to the nearest hospital to get you guys checked out. I can't imagine what you've been through, but I know it looks like the magician looking guy might have suffered a wound. You're bleeding all over my trailer, but
I don't even know what is worse, the fact that you think that I'm just an ordinary magician, or if I'm bleeding from the leg.
So he tells you guys to sit tight and got help coming coming for you guys.
Brandon will walk up. You mind if I use your phone real quick? I gotta make a call.
Yeah, go ahead. It's in the back office there.
All right. Brandon goes back there. He dials the number in for his field office.
911.
He's just a crazed guy who thinks he works
For the bureau.
Get me the FBI.
Yeah, connect me to the FBI immediately.
I'm looking for Rudy Giuliani.
Okay, so yeah, you dial and you rings, kind of a standard 3 times, and the guy picks up, and there's no he doesn't immediately speak. He's kind of waiting for like a code word or phrase.
I hear maybe hit the soft breathing on the other line. I just hear Razor Crest 16842 Razor Crest.
Confirmed. And then you hear the line click over, and your commanding officer jumps online.
So there's been a wrinkle. Our man is down. I have 3 individuals of seeming import from the situation in my custody. Is a rough word, but a roundabout there. I need further instruction as to where to go, or if I should stick with the party to make sure that what we have experienced or seen does not easily disseminate it to the masses.
We're trying to figure out what transpired on that island as well. I think you should sit tight, and we'll try to get contact to you as soon as possible.
Understood. Razor Crest out, and he hangs up the phone and walks kind of without doing much or making much of a thing of it. Sits back down maybe next to Professor Ritter.
I attempt to listen into the conversation, but it's too muffled and I don't make out most of it.
Okay. You can do a listen check if you want.
I did. I failed.
We'll click the box, man.
Okay. And yeah, so you guys are waiting there for a little bit longer, and you start to see the red and blue kind of flashing lights of an ambulance as it pulls up, and they request for you guys to get in. They start bandaging you. They give you proper blankets and start trying to help you dry off, and the EMTs tell you that they're gonna bring you to the nearest hospital, which is in Essex. It's only about 20-ish minutes away from Rockport, and they would like to get you guys checked out there.
Did I take the gold coins from the island, or did we leave them there?
I think there's like 2 or 3 floating around the party.
Yeah, I don't think anyone got rid of their coins outright.
Okay,
You
just
maybe
checking.
pilfered some more, knowing you.
Yeah.
What Lorenzo wants to know is, I'm a VIP. Will I get my own room?
Maybe. Roll a luck. Yeah, roll a luck check. How about that? And if
I want
you
to fast talk my way into getting a better room.
Oh, you actually
Okay.
have a good score in that? I just saw fast talk and I was like, oh, I wish I had fast talk.
Hey.
Oh, there you go.
There
I
you go.
need to be by myself. I've been surrounded by men all day, and I just. You understand. I'm talking to like a woman nurse. And just
yeah,
like, you understand. I
there's
need-
a male and a female EMT, and the female's like, yeah, I got you.
Thank you. You're a dear.
Lorenzo got a critical success.
Jesus. Twice in a row.
Twice.
Oh my god.
Well, you got an extreme
wow.
success and then a critical one.
Oh,
and that's a 1 out of a D100.
I must have found my number 1 fan.
Yeah, I was gonna say that, and then the male EMT sees you, and he's just like, "Oh my god!" And he's just like totally starstruck, and he's just like thinking to himself, he's like, "Oh yeah, I gotta impress this guy." And he's a aspiring amateur magician as well, and so you better believe he's gonna be bugging you in that room.
Was he like a kid, like at one of Capini's like shows? Like, is there like in the back of his mind, like he, like a kid like licking a lollipop, like seeing a trick for the first time and like experiencing wonder and joy, and it's like, oh, he's here.
Yeah, the camera like zooms in on the EMT's eyes, and it like fades in like he's reminiscing, and it takes him back to a time where he's 6 years old at a friend's birthday party, and the Capini is performing, and he's just completely awestruck. It's got that kind of like golden.
I like that it's still a friend's birthday
memories.
party.
Yeah.
The great competing.
I like to think
times. Yeah.
that Brandon's gone over to an officer and is bumming a smoke off of him, and as it's getting lit, he looks over and sees this EMT freaking out and goes, "I'll be a son of a bitch. I guess he was a complete liar after all."
All right. So you guys jump into the ambulance, and you're transported to a hospital in Essex, and you guys luckily all get your own room. And so yeah, you get bandaged, you're well rested, you're fed, and you guys all wake up kind of late morning, kind of like just before noon, and a lot of your personal belongings and your clothes are folded up on a chair next to your bed, and you're in a hospital gown, and on top of each one of your pile of clothes and personal belongings, there's also a letter there that wasn't originally with you when you arrived at the hospital. And you guys are all in your own rooms, and you all wake up to finding this letter.
Yeah, I'll go over. I'll open it. Yeah.
So you run your finger underneath the top flap of the envelope and pull out a small piece of parchment. And the letter says, "I hope this letter finds you well. We are part of an organization that investigates abnormal and paranormal occurrences. We've received word that your experiences on Beacon Island were more than just inclement weather. We've arranged for your transportation to Boston, should you like. We humbly ask for your unique assistance in a request from a long-standing member of our organization. Unfortunately, we cannot provide more detail than this until we meet in person. The transportation we've arranged will be outside the hospital at 12:30 p.m. Please be punctual. Best regards."
I'm just imagining a Today person saying you must leave a hospital punctually, and that's just not possible. It's like, have they been to a hospital?
I already looked at your blood. It looked like it wasn't too bad, so you're probably good to go.
Yeah.
Hopefully I can redo my outfit from the day before, but I try to like spiff it up a little bit to make it look like a different outfit, because you can't be seen in the same outfit that second day in a row. And I think I make it work. It looks good.
Okay.
Maybe.
As Brandon walks over to everyone's door and kind of knocks on it to see if he can get everybody together, and like he holds the letter up to see if they've also received the letter, kind of wordlessly.
Yeah. Oh, I think if I've read I assume our letters all contain the same content.
Yeah. All four of them are identical, but you just came across them individually.
I think Dr. Ritter is steaming and fuming and like is crumpling the letter in his hand and like is kind of slapping it. Can you believe this?
I mean, yes, it is. It's a letter, Doctor. I don't know if you've ever gotten one before.
No, don't you think I don't know what this is? This is an attempt to scoop me, to remove me from the playing board before I can file a paper in publication and claim discovery of this thing. They want me to come work for their organization. Dr. Ritter publishes under his own name. Thank you very much.
Doctor, why would they want all the rest of us then if it was purely for that?
Well, obviously for evidence and extra, help.
Well, you could just you could lie to them and not tell them everything.
Well, that would be extremely unscientific.
Well, you have to decide. Do you want to keep it to yourself and then release this information on your own, or be a team player?
They won't let me smoke in here, and you want to do ethics. I don't know.
Smoking near the oxygen tanks.
And the maternity ward, like I said before.
This is a 1920s hospital. I think at best, we're getting cloth bandages.
If anything, they actually went to Capini and recommended that he smoke as one of his treatments to get better from his injuries.
Yeah.
Oh, you have a leg
Good
wound.
for the bowels. Let's go closer to the infants and help them.
Could I have convinced the nurse to bring me a change of clothes?
Yeah. Roll a luck check, actually.
No.
So while Dr. Ritter is very adamant that he's getting scooped, Capini thinks this is some letter from some aspiring fan or organization that will make him a greater magician.
Oh, and also on Capini's thing, you find a headshot of yourself with a sticky note on it that says, "Please sign for my son." And it's from the EMT from the night before.
Why, of course. Capini said, now I know a place that truly appreciates the great Mr. Capini.
As you start getting like closer and closer to civilization, people start appreciating you a little bit more.
I think I like the idea of him also then stapling a bill, like a charge, like $10
An invoice,
thing, like onto the thing as well. Before again.
Pens a certificate of authenticity on a
really signed by Capini. Yeah.
Yeah, Hazel, you got a hard success on your luck roll. So you ask one of the nurses if there's a change of clothes, and they tell you that they have a lost and found, and they can likely scrounge up something nice for you.
I was hoping for something better, but okay, I'll make do. Can't wear the same thing, and I'll go look through the lost and found and hope that there's something decent.
There's a $1,000 gift card to Gucci. It's right next door.
It was a hard
Fantastic.
success on his luck throw, so that makes sense.
I'll just go shopping, boys. I'll meet you back in 30 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, you guys still have probably about an hour, so you could probably pop out and find something if you really wanted to.
Did Gucci exist in the 20s? I don't know.
I have
Probably
no idea.
not.
It'd be Macy's.
Had to.
Macy's.
It
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm gonna give
I'm
you
going to
that shit.
Macy's. I found a gift card in one of the one
A
of these
gift card in.
I had to go to the department store. That's
because
in
those
Marvelous Mrs.
existed.
Maple.
I was gonna say, if you found a gift card, you should go tell them also about and make $1 million right now.
I found a 20 in someone's pocket in the lost and found. They don't check the pockets.
And they wrote Macy's across the $20 bill.
Yeah.
Precursor.
Oh,
Or
that-
Macy's only.
Also, that
Macy's only.
$20 bill that you found in the night in the lost and found is someone's entire savings.
I know.
Not my problem.
Isn't that like $20 in the 1920s? That's a lot.
She
of
comes
money.
back with 14 new outfits and 2 cars.
Yeah.
That's like the down payment for their house, and they were like on their way. Tell their like, we're finally gonna get it, honey. We're gonna move on up. Oh no, there was a hole in my pocket.
Oh, right. Okay, so you guys, I assume, are all outside the front of the hospital at 12:30, right?
Yep.
It's worth $250.
I mean, that's
It's a good amount of money.
Good amount of money, yeah.
Mhm. She buys the fanciest dress.
There you go. Perfect. So you guys are outside of the hospital, and a black town car pulls up, and a well-dressed driver in a suit immediately jumps out and opens the door for you, and just stands at attention at the door, as if inviting you guys into the vehicle.
Brandon pushes past and jumps in the front passenger seat, just so if he needs to, he can wrestle control away from the driver of the car. He doesn't know what's going to happen, but he wants to make sure he can be in some sort of power position if things get fucky.
Okay.
Yeah, I will also go get in the car. I just don't want to be in the.
Yeah, I was gonna say, who's riding?
Feet on the bump.
Oh, I am riding in the back seat because I feel so enamored about being this. I feel like I'm being like, what is it, a chauffeured around.
Yeah, but you're also in the middle. Both Hazel and Dr. Rader get the window seats, so you're in the middle.
Oh, darn.
So you all get in the car, and he closes the door and jumps back into the driver's seat. Still silent. He hasn't said anything to you guys, and he jumps in the driver's seat and just starts driving, making his way southwest towards Boston, where the letter had indicated you guys would be heading towards. It's about an hour-ish drive, hour and a half from Essex to Boston. So if there's anything you guys want to do during that time frame, or we can just jump to Boston.
Is this going to be a silent drive all the way there?
Yeah, I mean, he's pretty much just a driver.
Brandon's going to try to talk his ear off a little, see if he can't get any information. He's going to be kind of casual about it, though. Like, roll down a window. You mind if I smoke? Of course you don't. It's the 1920s. And he lights up a cigarette.
Oh, is everyone smoking? Okay.
I will try to find out as much as possible from the driver.
Yeah, so every time you like try to address him or ask him a question, he'll kind of look at you in the rearview mirror, like he acknowledges it, but he just continues to stay silent and keeps driving.
Strong silent type, huh?
Is he an old man, young person?
No, he's not young. I would say like 30s, kind of middle-aged, fairly well built, fairly well kempt. Like he's, fairly good-looking guy.
Well, I gotta ask. It's been my day. Tell me, driver, have you heard of the great Capini?
He gives you the same treatment that he gave Hazel, where he just looks at you through the rearview mirror to acknowledge the question and then just keeps driving.
The audacity.
Brandon's gonna maybe try one more time. Be like, so who do you work for? Do you happen to know anything?
I'm just a driver, sir.
But this is your boss's car, right? Be a shame if someone, I don't know, put this lit cigarette out on the dashboard, wouldn't it?
I'd ask if you could refrain from doing so.
I could ask if you'd give us a little more information here. I'd hate for you to get in trouble with your boss.
Like I said, I'm just a driver, sir.
And he reads them back and forth, and he moves to put the cigarette out on the dashboard, and then watches kind of the eyes of the driver to see if he's even sweating it.
Not really. Like he's almost like kind of calling your bluff. Like he doesn't think you're gonna do it.
And he goes, "Good man," and he flicks it out the window instead.
And then he hits the brakes, and your face hits the dashboard.
He lights another cigarette and puts this one out instead.
No.
I think I'm writing and like scribbling and making sure that I get as much like down and like prepared before this meeting takes place as possible.
Okay.
I think I'm telling everybody about my new show, The Great Capini and the Fish Folk.
God damn it.
He's got a puppet budget now.
So you spend the next hour trying to mess with and get some answers out of the driver, but he's silent and doing his best to remain professional. You arrive in downtown Boston. The hustle and bustle of locals as they go about their daily routines. You pull up in front of a brownstone, a rather nice looking brownstone. And as soon as the driver parks the car, he jumps out and opens the door in the same kind of attention that he did at the hospital. And he gestures from the door of the car to the door of the brownstone directly opposite of it.
Okay, next time, word to the wise, maybe don't be such a talk box on the way up here. And Brandon will walk to the door.
And he holds out his hand as if expecting a tip from you.
And he taps out the cigarette he's smoking on his shoe and puts it into his hand. There's your tip. And walks up.
Dr. Ritter definitely tips. There's no way that you can be as charming as I am and not, pay people that hold out their hands. So like he gives a lavish like $5 tip probably.
Nope. $75.
Thank you, sir.
There you go, baby.
I give him $1.
Oh, Capini is no cheapskate, but in fact, in this time, he says, "Oh, the company and the stories you'll tell, dear driver, there's more tip than I can offer."
Another signed headshot lands in his hand.
He pulls it from behind the guy's ear.
And a bill is also stapled to that one.
So you guys are all four standing on the sidewalk outside of this brownstone. And as soon as you all exit the car, he gets back in and drives away.
So I'm good with guns. I'm not good with words.
That's disturbing. He was kind of riding out of here. Okay, cool. We should go inside, I guess.
I'm sure they'll give us another ride.
I don't know if you can tell from my ridiculous accent, but I'm actually from Boston, so this should be just fine.
Fit right in.
No one else finds it disturbing that they brought us here and then also took away our means of conveyance away from here. Okay, let's see what's happening inside.
Clearly, they are a fan of Capini. I will knock on the door. So I proceed to knock on the door.
Okay. So you guys head to the door of the brownstone, and right as you lift your hand to knock on the door, it opens up, and you see another well-dressed man, a little bit older this time, and he addresses you. "Ah, excellent, right on time." And he opens the door fully and gestures you all inside.
I go.
Yep, same.
I'm the great Capini. You certainly have heard of me.
He's like, "Ah, yes, I've heard of heard of all of you, as a matter of fact. And so he gestures you into a seating area that's just inside the doorway. Plenty of cushioned seats for everybody. And he tells you, "Oh, thank you all for coming. I was optimistic you would, but wouldn't blame you if you didn't. Strange happenings seem to be all around if you keep a keen eye for them. I'm sure your recent events bring a lot of questions. Unfortunately, that is not within my purview of knowledge, but that recent experience of the paranormal is exactly why we've requested you. One of our members is a local landlord, and one of his properties has, well, had some issues with the paranormal that we suspect, and we'd like you to investigate. The property in question is the old Corbett house. There's been a wild streak of tenants who have either been found dead under odd circumstances, or tenants who have fled the home and speak nonsense about it within the last few years. Mr. Knott, the landlord, is a subtle but valuable member of our society, who is the one having the issues with one of his best property. You could spend some time looking into its history. You might be able to determine the cause and rid the house of whatever evil inhabits it."
Is there any water nearby?
Ah, yes.
Oh, there is. Okay, good. I was beginning to worry my boating skill was gonna not be useful at all.
I sit there and I look at the man. I'm like, clearly you must be mistaken. I'm not an investigator of the paranormal. I am the great Lorenzo Capini, and this is clearly here about investing in my show, is it not?
Maybe we can address that at the end of the investigation.
I'm so sorry. I apologize. Did you say what your name was again?
Ah, sorry about that. My name is William Bonds.
All right, Billy Bands. It's super great to meet you. I have lost my head. It has been such an up and down day, as you can imagine, and I have not called my wife. I was wondering if I could use your phone real quick. Oh, also, what was the name of this mysterious organization that you were talking about again?
Unfortunately, I'm not at liberty to tell.
Oh, maybe then we're not at liberty to help investigate your spooky house, huh?
No, I'm sorry. We're quite at liberty, Agent. We're currently unemployed, unattached. We'd be very happy to go there and discover new things. But he does bring a good point up. What's in it for us?
Brandon's going to throw the biggest stink eye at Dr.
We will reward you handsomely for your efforts. Unfortunately, we are quite indisposed with other matters, and we are looking to expand our grasp and our influence.
That wasn't weird or cryptic.
I mean, he's purposefully being a little dodgy, and it's just because.
And if I say, how about this? Can I suss it out this way? And if I say that material goods do not interest me or any of my more serious colleagues, and he eyes the great Capini. In the meantime, though, some of us may be more interested in base things such as that. What is it exactly that you're offering?
Well, if you're not interested in monetary compensation, then I'm sure there's much we can coordinate and accomplish together.
You say that you have influence within the halls of power, perhaps at one Harvard University?
It's a university that's in Boston. Well, not in Boston, just outside of Boston, actually.
Yeah,
Maybe you've heard of it.
Yes. We do have some influence within the university, yes.
I think that our help could be arranged. Certainly, are any of you disposed currently?
I mean, I would prefer financial compensation over something with Harvard. I could give two shits about Harvard, unless is there
Harvard's endowment?
Is there an archaeological department or historians in Harvard? Is that a thing?
The natural history museum that they've got there is actually one of the more interesting in the world, right? I mean, that's a cool place.
He responds and he tells you, absolutely, yes, there's such department there.
I think maybe it's best if I accompany these fine folk, though they are all very much people. They may require some assistance, but I really do have to call my wife. Is it all right if I use your line?
I'm really glad you think I'm a person. That means a lot. Thanks.
So while you're going to the phone, the Capini says, "Could you teach me to become a real magician?"
Are you a puppet?
He wants real occult power.
Well, who knows? You might achieve that. Yeah, so he'll gesture to the back, and there will be a phone, kind of in the back by the kitchen.
So he'll dial the same number he did before, and hold the receiver to his ear. Kind of wait.
You get the same 3 rings, and then it picks up right afterwards, and you hear the same kind of breathy noise in it. No one's speaking on the other side.
Wouldn't you know it? She's not home. Well, I'll leave a message with the maid. Yeah, hi Carla. No, tell my wife I've been held up in Boston. Apparently I have to attend something, with work with Mr. Knight. If you don't hear from me in the next day or so, don't worry, I'll be home all too soon. And then he hangs up the phone.
Okay. All right. So you come back into the living room with the other 3, and William addresses you on. It seems that we've been able to strike an agreement. Do you guys agree?
Absolutely.
It is decided. Sorry, I mean, yeah.
I have spoken.
Well, in order to assist with your investigation and point you in the right direction, I do have a couple suggestions, if I may. You should visit the Central Library. It contains historical documents about the home's history. Also, you should visit the Hall of Records. They might have some valuable public information as well. While our organization, being an important one, might not have as much of a connection with media outlets or the police, but if you have contacts inside or can sweet talk your way into them, the Boston Globe and the Central Police Station are also valuable resources as well.
I call whichever one's the one I can talk to people the most.
Okay. And you guys don't necessarily need to split the party and do all this individually, but if you would like to do so, you can.
That might be a good way to handle it, because I've got a library skill.
And I'm literally an officer of the law.
Yeah.
Yeah, you obviously could go there.
And I doubt Hazel would want to come to the police station, if I'm honest with you.
Not in the slightest.
Capini has a good persuasion skill, so if there's anybody
Okay.
I could do a sleight of hand with.
Either you or Hazel could maybe sneak into the Globe if you want to take the greater challenge there and see if there's other things to learn there. Because the other option was the Hall of Records, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so the Hall of Records is kind of a public governmental building, and so is the library. And so anyone can kind of get in there, but it'll just take time to find the information that you're looking for. And then the trickier ones to try to get into are going to be the Boston Globe or the police station, because obviously media outlets not just going to give you information on any type of story they have in case you publish it instead of them, or also the police station giving you classified files of any kind.
Well, how about it?
I love it. Let's do it. Let's split the party in the horror game.
Where dying is very easy.
Yeah, right.
Which one would be fast talk?
Boston Globe.
Hey, you gotta be Boston Globe, right? Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
Can you pretend to be a 1920s reporter? That's
Sure.
Oh, Capini could get you in there with a sleight of hand and persuasion and tomfoolery. You could
maybe
probably
it's worth
talk
sending you both. Maybe it's worth both of you guys doing that. I mean, if it's a hard thing, presumably the reward is higher too. And I'll go to the library. Yeah.
Yeah. So why don't we let's see. Why don't you two fast talking individuals make for the Globe? I'll head to the police station. Throw on my weight. Doctor, why don't you go to the Central Library? We can all meet back together at the Hall of Records in a couple hours. How's that sound?
To the library.
Works for me.
to the Globe to announce my new show, Capini and the Fishfolk.
No, I can't wait.
But we all start leaving. Brandon's just gonna kind of catch Hazel aside. I feel like if he starts talking and you get a chance to maybe use him, I don't know, bypass certain things while everyone's staring at him, I would recommend maybe doing that.
I had all intentions of using him as a distraction.
It's like he just goes, I'm glad that you're going, and then he walks away.
Collateral damage.
I'm not good at stealthing, but we'll see how this works out.
Okay. So we have Hazel and the Great Capini going to the Boston Globe, and Dr. Ritter and Brandon are going to the Central Library. Sorry,
I'm going to the
I
police
think
station.
Brandon's
The
going to
police
go to the police station. Yeah, I'll go to the library.
Okay. So a three-way split. Perfect. So,
And that's how they died.
And that's when they died.
reroll characters, and no, I'm just kidding. Okay, great. So you guys all kind of head off in different directions, except for Hazel and Capini. You guys are together, and being in Boston, obviously Brandon kind of knows where he's going, and the rest of you, can ask locals and get pointed in the right direction. So you're all able to get to these locations without any real issue. Hazel and Capini, you arrive at the Boston Globe. It is a single-story brick building with large storefront glazing and a large double-door entry. As you walk inside, there is a desk just beyond the double doors, and a desk clerk is waiting there and greets you as you enter. And she says, "What can I do for you?"
I will go up and go, "Hi, I have a meeting actually. I forget their name, but this man was also coming here, and he said he was a magician, and wasn't there
Oh,
something?"
just not any magician. Surely this person here knows who I am. I'm the great Lorenzo Capini, and I have come here to get information for my next show and to put an advertisement. Please let me in and step aside.
She kind of looks at you, trying to think of where she might have seen you before, but she's pretty young and a little flighty, so she doesn't quite know where to place you. But she tells you, "I can connect you with our chief editor, Artie. He might be able to help you out."
Great. While you're waiting there, I want to see a little simple magic trick, just to show you my greatness.
Yeah, let me go get Artie first, and then I'll be back. And so she kind of heads off into kind of the deeper parts of the Boston Globe.
Is there a door, like a doorway or something that I can go sneak into now that she's gone?
Yeah, so there isn't really a map for the Boston Globe, so this will just kind of have to be theater of the mind. But the main floor space of this kind of has cubes where, like, a lot of the reporters kind of hang out and they're working on stories. Some of the cubes are empty because they're out, investigating or interviewing people for a story, that sort of thing. Offices kind of line the outer walls of the building. So these were where some of the editors, like junior editors, kind of sit. And then Artie, who is the chief editor, his office is in the back. And you can see over kind of like the cubicle farm type situation going on to a door that has like a stairwell sign on it of stairs going down.
I will take that.
Okay. So as Ava is making her way to the back of the building to get Artie, she knocks on Artie's door because it's closed, and he tells her to come in. She goes in and shuts the door. And as soon as the door shuts, you start making your way to the back side of the building. Only a luck check. I think
That's a big old failure.
I was gonna say, I think that might have been a critical failure, but your skill's above 50. So you fail. So as you're making your way to the back, the door to the stairwell is kind of right next to the door to Artie's office.
Of course it is.
And right as you get to that door to open it, Artie's office door opens up and Ava pops out and she says, where are you heading?
I was looking for the restroom.
Oh yes, that's actually 2 doors down that way. And she kind of points the opposite direction of the stairwell and Artie's office.
Oh, thank you so much. You're a dear. And I'll walk to the ladies' room.
Okay. So Ava and Artie start making their way to the front of the Boston Globe to address Capini, and from there we will swap over to Brandon Drox.
So Brandon walks up to the police district. Maybe it's the B2, maybe it's the B3. He's familiar. He used to be a policeman before he joined the bureau a number of years ago, but he walks up to District B2, Roxbury, walks in the door. Hey, where's your desk sergeant?
And the woman sitting at the desk, she sees you walk in, and she's like, Brandon Drox, if my eyes don't deceive me.
Oh, Betty? Wow, can't believe you haven't been fired. It is terrible to see you.
She kind of lowers her eyes, and she's like, no, it's Kim.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Cynthia? I'm terrible with names.
Yeah. And you're terrible with keeping dates, too.
Well, that's not my fault. It is the Bureau's fault. They really got me underneath their thumb. It's all day saving America, I tell you what.
She's not really buying it. She's, so what can I do for you then, huh?
I need to talk to your desk sergeant, or you have a detective in charge of the Mr. Knight case that they're having over there at and he looks around the haunted house. I know that probably been some complaints from his house lately. People running in and out.
It's actually not Knott.
Oh, not. Sorry. No, that was just my accent. I was saying not. I was just saying it with a Boston accent. No,
I was confused. I thought you were making up your own case. I was like, okay, I'll see if I can roll with this. She's like, yeah, sure. He's back there, and points you back to one of the back offices.
Thank you, Kim. You're. I'm sorry, and he just walks away.
And she says under her breath, "Now you get the name right."
Yeah. So he walks through and goes to find the detective in charge.
Yeah, and he greets you, and he asks, yeah, what can I do for you?
What's up? How you doing today? My name is Bureau Agent Drox. It's funny being back in these halls. I used to work at C6 down in Southie. But,
get out of here! My cousin's over there.
Oh, no way!
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it a guy with a face and some hair?
Yeah. That's him. That's him.
He's a good guy. He's a good guy. Yeah. Say hi to your mother for me. How's your father?
Yeah.
Well, I've been sent over here on some interesting business, to say the least. I've been getting some reports, and it's actually made up the chain all the way to the bureau about this Mr. Knott house. What's going on down there?
Yeah, we've had quite a bit of complaints coming out of that area for many years. Let me see what I can dig up for you. Give me a minute.
Thank you so much. It's too kind of you.
Okay. And then he heads back in and heads back into a back room that has a bunch of filing cabinets and stuff, and starts kind of thumbing through.
Is he in his own office? Does he leave me by myself?
Yeah. So he was. It's kind of the same setup as the Boston Globe. He's kind of towards the backside of an open floor plan, and then in some of the back rooms is just where they keep some of their case files and stuff. So
Brandon's gonna, without raising too much suspicion, maybe look across his desk, see if there's any case folders or case files, any scribblings that match up to any information he knows about the house. Not getting up, say, but maybe leaning over the desk, shuffling papers around, trying to shuffle them back,
moving a hand over something real quick, and just kind of move a couple folders and pieces of paper just to take a quick peek. And a lot of the names or titles on some of these case folders you don't recognize. Some of them might be locations, so you might recognize a location of something, but it's all pretty mundane police work type things.
And he leans back trying to get everything just so, waiting for the officer to return.
Okay. And you hear filing cabinet kind of close shut, and he walks out of the room and shuts the door behind him. And as he's approaching you, let's cut over to Dr. Ritter.
Okay.
And you are going to the central library, correct?
Yeah, let's do the library.
Okay. So you arrive at the library, and obviously typical library. There's a librarian at the front desk, and she greets you with a nod as you walk in.
I take a deep breath and just get that musty library odor, like in my brain, like through my nostrils and up into my brain.
Just taking it all in.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've spent many an hour in the library.
Yeah, just Dr. Bitter's home. Like, this is nice. Like, the quiet nod of the librarian, this is good. So I guess what he's going to do first off is probably find... this might seem a little redundant, but this seems like the best way to begin looking for things about this house, especially in the library, is like old news stories or anything about the plot of land or the family associated with the house.
Yeah, perfect.
And it's not like there's going to be a book like my creepy haunted house and my spooky family, an anthology, 8 parts. Like, that's not going to be like on the thing. So yeah, I think like going through like the microfiche, like, there's no microfiche probably. There might be, I don't know. But yeah, I'll be going through like old records of newspapers and like hard copies and just like getting my research on.
Yeah, so there are actually like film negatives and like a projector for you to kind of thumb through. So
Beautiful.
Roll me a library use check, and I will give you a bonus die on that because you are, a scholar and you know your way around a library, whether it's your own or otherwise. So
what is the bonus die that I should roll?
So when you get a bonus die, you normally roll the 2-digit D10 and then the single digit. You roll the 2-digit D10 twice and take the better result.
And the single digit one, right? As well.
Okay, so you roll the single digit once, you roll the double
other
digit twice and take the better of the two for that die.
Which in this case is actually the lower, right? Because I want to...
Yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
okay. I've rolled a 40 and a 2, so I'm going to re-roll the thing again here. So that's a 60 and a 2. So I got a 42. My library use is 50.
Okay, so you succeed.
Yeah.
So you are well versed in the Dewey Decimal System and make your way through. And you spend the better part of the afternoon kind of thumbing through a lot of articles and just trying to find anything of use that refers to the Corbett house or the
Corbett.
Okay. Yeah. So the information that William Barnes would have given to you is the address to the Corbett house, and it's been famously owned by a Mr. Walter Corbett, and the landlord just obviously fills it with tenants as necessary. So you know the name of the person that owns the property as well as the property address. So you're trying to cross-reference and check all of those things. So while you're searching through, you find some information. You get a little backstory on the house. In 1835, a prosperous merchant builds the house, but immediately falls ill and sells it to Mr. Walter Corbett, Esquire. In 1852, Walter Corbett is sued by the neighbors, who petition to force him to leave the area, quote, in consequence of his serious habits and unauspicious demeanor. They pretty much just don't like the guy. Corbett wins the lawsuit. In 1866, Walter Corbett passes away. His obituary says that he still lived in the same house, and it states that a second posthumous lawsuit was being waged to prevent Corbett from being buried in his own basement as provided by his will. There is no outcome of the second lawsuit, and that's all the information you can find in the Central Library. So you spend the better part of a few hours, 2 to 3 hours, compiling all of that information, and then we'll cut back to the Boston Globe. So Ava and Artie, chief editor, are making their way to the front of the office, and Artie sees the great Capini, and he walks up to you and, what can I do for you?
Surely you've heard of me. The great Lorenzo Capini, the magician making a comeback. So first I want to see if he recognizes me.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna have him roll. Actually, I'm gonna have you roll.
Easier for me to roll. What do you need me to
Yeah.
roll?
Either we'll do a combined check. So we'll do either an appearance check or a luck check. And whichever of the two of those are higher, then you just use that as the best one. I mean, the better.
I have no idea where appearance is.
It's one of your main stats.
Well, I'm definitely better lucky than appearance. So we'll see how this all panned
Okay.
out.
So roll luck.
Okay, so I got a success on luck, but a failure on appearance. I guess
Okay.
that means he heard of me, but God, what happened to you, man?
Yeah. Yeah. So so the combined check is if you pass one, you pass them both. So
Okay.
it pretty much doubles your chances to do it. Yeah. So Artie recognizes. Oh, yeah, the Great Capini. Yeah, of course. Seen some clips of some of your tricks and your shows. What can I do for you?
Well, my new trick involves a house most mysterious. Maybe you've heard of it, the Colby House.
Yeah, the Corbett house is. Yeah. Are you gonna try to make it disappear? And he kind of like jokes with you about it.
Why? Has someone tried that before?
And he's just like whoosh sound goes through the air.
David Copperfield.
The Great Capiti does not redo tricks.
Yeah.
So, what can you tell me about it? I've heard things about it. Things most disturbing. Things most unbelievable.
Yeah. We had to shelve a story about the Corbett house a while ago. Had a difficult time kind of piecing some things together, and it just wasn't coming together the way we liked. And we got it down in the basement with all the rest of the articles that never see the light of day. I'll have Ava show you down there. We'll get you situated down there looking at it.
And meanwhile, I came with a young woman. Clearly, she was. Do you know where she went?
Cut to Hazel just kind of sitting in a stall, just biding her time, pretending like she's using the restroom.
I wait a full 60 seconds, and then I come out as if I just powdered my nose. And go, oh, hello.
And you leave the restroom right as Ava is showing Capini to the stairwell.
Are you going somewhere?
Oh, by God, Artie the editor says we can take a look at the story about the old Colbert house. The great Capini shall be great once more.
Okay, let's do that then. She will follow awkwardly,
Okay.
confused at how he succeeded where she
I
came.
was like visualizing that. It's so funny. You're trying so hard to get down there, and then Capini's just like, yeah, it was easy.
Minor celebrity. That's
Exactly.
that'll get you a lot of places.
Yep. That D list. So as she's showing you down the stairwell, she's hitting a couple lights, and it's in this kind of dusty, dank basement, like row after row after row of filing cabinets. And she jokes with you, and she tells you that they call this the morgue, where stories go to die, and just kind of jokes around with you a little bit about that. And she doesn't know offhand where to start looking, but she tells you that everything is organized by address. So if you're looking for something in particular, you'll have to start looking through that. So as you guys start that search, let's cut back to Brandon at the police station.
Brandon's sitting there, maybe rocking back and forth in the chair, drumming on the sides of the chair to seem casual, maybe a little too casual.
Yeah. You worried about something there, son?
Son, that's a good joke. I believe you can either refer to me as Special Agent, or you can call me Brandon. Sir.
Brandon it is. Yeah, so found this file here. Wasn't much for the Corbett house, but did see some correlations between the Corbett house and an establishment called the Chapel of Contemplation.
Chapel of Contemplation, eh?
Yeah. It here, I'm just gonna set this file down here and go grab a cup of coffee. Don't do anything that I wouldn't do. And he kind of like winks and walks off.
Brandon, having trouble with social cues, sits there until the officer comes back. He picks it up rather quickly and starts shuffling through, just looking for dates, names, and places. I'm sure, and maybe like if there's any listed crimes, just those 4 things, kind of taking it in. Basically.
Yeah. So you thumb through the file pretty quickly, and you see that the police raided the Chapel of Contemplation. Their grounds for doing so was they had affidavits from people swearing that the members of the church were responsible for the disappearances of neighborhood children. During the raid, 3 policemen were killed and 17 cult members were killed as well, either due to gunplay or fire. The autopsy reports for those 20 people were singularly lacking detail and uninformative, as if the coroner had not actually performed examinations. It was strictly just cause of deaths on most of these autopsy reports. For the kind of conclusion of how it all turned out, 54 members of the church were arrested, all but 8 were released. The records hint of illegal intervention in the proceedings by an important local official offering stories of the battle, the biggest criminal action in the city's history that never appeared in print. And the one thing that kind of catches your eye is the pastor of the Chapel of Contemplation, Pastor Michael Thomas, was arrested and sentenced to 40 years in prison on 5 counts of second-degree murder. He escaped from prison in 1917 and fled the state. So, if you guys remember, it is kind of late April 1926. It's kind of the time frame you guys are at. So you have a little bit of information, not so much on the Corbett house, but this was a case that was associated with it. So,
and what's the link between the two? Like
you don't know from what you can get from the police station.
Okay.
But I mean, like either what he fled there, he killed people there, or he, I don't know, trick or treated there.
Yeah. So you know the Chapel of Contemplation is
linked somehow
to the Corbett house.
Yeah.
And you know that whatever the Chapel of Contemplation was about, seems that there was some pretty sketchy shit happening, considering they described some of their members as cultists.
Right.
They accused them of abducting children when they went to raid the place. Like it turned into like all out like gunfire, and
basically
there was a
Waco.
fire. Yeah. So like they weren't going down peacefully or cooperating. So
Brendan puts it back on his desk. He starts jotting down in his little book pretty quickly all these important details, and then he folds it up, puts it in his pocket, and he sits back, leaning on the chair, waiting for the officer to return.
yeah, and he shows back up. Nice hot cup of coffee.
Well, officer, I appreciate it. I'm sorry you couldn't help me in these circumstances, but keep up the good duty. I hear great things about this precinct.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Shakes his hand and walks out the door.
Okay. And now let's go back to the morgue, quote unquote, the Boston Globe basement. So Hazel and Lorenzo, you guys are kind of poking around. You have the address that William Barnes had given all of you, and you start going through the filing cabinets one by one, looking for how they're organized and trying to find the address. You eventually come across a file with the address of the Corbett house on it.
I want to see that. Is Ava still with us?
No, she kind of showed you down there, and she went back upstairs to, kind of man her post at the front desk.
Okay.
So yeah, it's just you two down there.
Oh, here it is, finally. And I pull out the file.
So you pull the file out, you set it on top of one of the cabinets, open it up, and start flipping through some of the pages. You see everything from kind of just general photographs of the house. You see handwritten notes from a notepad. And then at the very back of the folder, you see kind of the culmination of what all of the research and the story was about. So the story was set to be published in 1924, so 2 years prior, but they permanently shelved it. And the story states that in 1880, a family of French immigrants moved into the house but fled after a series of violent accidents, left the parents dead and 3 children crippled. The house long stood vacant. In 1909, another family moved in and immediately fell prey to illness. In 1914, the oldest brother went mad and killed himself with a kitchen knife, and the heartbroken family moved out. In 1924, a third family, the Macarios, rented the house, but they left almost immediately under mysterious circumstances. So you're seeing a lot of information about mysterious this, like unfortunate that, and without having any real reason or explanation to what happened. And because of that kind of like lack of evidence and conjecture was why they never published the story.
Is there any contacts or anything we can see in there? Like, surely they had people they could follow up with.
Most of it was kind of like third-person accounts from people in the neighborhood of the Corbett house. And the third family, the Macarios, in 1924 was the latest family to move into the house, but it does not mention about their whereabouts.
Great Capini tells Hazel, I feel like we're missing something here. This is clearly lackluster.
Well, I'm pretty sure it's just poor writing, but
Damn.
Yikes.
it's probably coincidence, honestly.
Paul, you're doing a great job.
I did not think that personally.
It's probably just all coincidence, or maybe the neighbors are causing them to run out, if anything. It's good to know the history, and if we had time, we could potentially interview some of these people who are still alive, who were run out of the home, and see what their stories entail.
Yeah.
So Capini looks to see if there are any nearby addresses, like adjacent, or a couple numbers that have stories as well, or is this one like the only story on this block?
It's pretty much the only story on the block. Yeah, the ones that are like nearby, address-wise, you see that they're kind of like local business, like puff pieces and crap like that. Like there's nothing, not an investigative piece like this one was supposed to be.
And there's no notes or files or anything, just we got everything.
Yeah, a journalist never gives up their source.
I tell Hazel, I'm gonna talk to the Arnie. Something just doesn't sit right with me about this. Maybe it's the poor writing.
Was Artie the author? Oh.
No, he was not.
Well, if he was the editor, at least, then he missed a few words. But if he's the author, thankfully he's not the author, so I have some respect for him still. So we could talk to Artie. That's fine.
So
Okay.
I'm gonna go up to Artie.
Okay.
I'm gonna put on a distress look. Artie, the story. It's missing so many details from my show. There's so much drama there, but I need to know the details. Who wrote this story so I can get deeper immersed into the world that I seek to go into?
Yeah, it was a couple years ago, 2 years ago. I think that was Mark. Mark wrote that one, but shortly after he shelved it, he moved out of state. I don't know where to find him.
So you're telling me there's nobody that actually knows anything about the Corbett house other than this paper?
I mean, as far as the Boston Globe's concerned.
Well, it's probably good that he left, but inconvenient. It's almost like the DM planned it that way.
So you might have squeezed this particular limit.
It's almost as if they never wrote anything about it, and I had to improvise.
Almost.
Almost, but not quite.
So I'm gonna make you improvise some more. I'd like to get some more information.
I might ask. I'm going to see if I can persuade her. Well, clearly you all don't plan on publishing this. Do you mind if I take this with me, with my notes? I promise to bring it back. The great Capini would never besmirch his honor.
The great Capini, who is in fact a vagabond that moves from place to place. He'll bring it back.
And then he kind of thinks about it, mulls it over, and he's like, I mean, considering it's a dead story and the author's no longer at the Boston Globe, I can't see him coming back for it. Let us make a couple copies of it real quick, and we'll let you leave with some copies. How's that sound?
Some copies?
copies.
The
Great.
1926.
Not photocopies. Jesus.
That's
Yeah, I was gonna say it'll take some people a day or two.
We just got this new machine. It's called a Xerox. It works wonders in
well,
the
faxes
20s.
have been around since like 1880. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, if anything, he's probably just going to go get, like, a camera and, like, take pictures of it all.
That's fair.
No, he's not going to go fucking Xerox it. Yeah.
Let me just run down to the Kinko's.
Hey, we might get microfiche. So you need a little microfine glass to look into it.
Yeah. Trying to figure out, like, when those machines were invented, but
They can't have been made after like 1930. Like I don't really think. I'm sure, like, vast
1961.
improvements have been made.
Yeah, 61.
No way.
It's called a photostat machine.
But like the microfiche is 1961. But surely there's like precursors that are like.
well, like
I
the,
mean,
the
tiny
negative.
into-
Yeah, I was alluding to the film negatives and, like, a projector.
No. It's called a photostat machine.
But in our 1920s, there's a Kinko's.
The first one in Boston.
First Kinko's.
Ironically, I was going to say we're going to get a carbon paper copy, and it would be on carbon paper. So I'll tell Hazel, keep your cigarettes far away.
Yeah, any heat, you just blacks out. Okay, so you guys, get some information on the Corbett house. So all three of you have finished your current tasks, and at this point in time, it's
We didn't really set a rendezvous, but I guess we could like.
We did. I
Just,
said that we meet up at the Hall of Records.
yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
we did. Oh, okay, good.
Yeah, Brandon was saying that you all three split to 3 locations, and then you'll all meet
Yeah,
at the
it would,
fourth. Yeah, the 4th location, the Hall of
That
Records.
makes a lot of sense. I don't know that we really need to do it. There's actually here's my question from the thing I've been putting together, like metagame wise, the things that we've been learning. Do we know, based on what information William gave us, or the things that I uncovered, who currently owns the house?
It's still owned by Walter Corbett himself, even though
No.
like it's owned by his estate.
It's owned by the estate of Walter Corbett, which still
Yeah.
like exists, like as an entity.
Yes.
Has not been dissolved.
whether that's, like-
presumably.
Yeah. So like
Yeah.
the property is still owned by him.
Well, that's perfect. 'Cause that's what I had written down, but I like kept looking at my notes from the stuff that you told me, and I was like, "That's a dead man."
Yeah.
And so, okay, great. Well, let's meet up at the Hall of Records. Yeah.
And so we get to the Hall of Records, and Brandon goes through everything, and then he gets to the Boston Globe stuff, and he goes, "You know what? I think there's more here. I think we should all 4 go back to the Boston Globe and really press this editor, this Artie, to see what else he knows. I think there's just more there."
You're right. He's a suspicious character. There's things there's things he knows and not saying.
He knows of the great Capini. He would have told me anything as a D-list celebrity. Let me tell you, we get to hear things others don't.
And he walks in the Hall of Records after making Paul sweat a little.
I guess this is my question. Is like, I mean, we know who owns this. We've put a lot of this stuff together. We can maybe compare notes right now, but should we just go to the house?
I think he wants to find the last one where the connection of the Chapel of Contemplation is to the Corbett House, and he's hoping maybe the Hall of Records has that final piece in there for them, because we have a good timeline.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. We should at least double check that it's here. But I think like game wise, Dr. Ritter as we go in is suspicious that we would ever find anything like that. Like you think this magical church that we're pretty sure is just, killing folks, right? We're all in agreement there that whatever nonsense is going on with the current renters from this century is almost certainly related to that. We're gonna find that they're the ones on record here. I suspect that we'll not find any trace of them whatsoever.
It makes me wonder, Dr. Ritter. Do you think, who are we working with now? The church itself?
That's a great. I look at Capini with like a new light. Like that's a great fucking question. I'm saying, good thought, son. I don't know what to say.
But Brandon's inside, probably with Hazel, while they're having this discussion outside.
Yeah, no. Let's go look and see what we can find. Yeah.
Does the Hall of Records look like the police station and like the Boston Globe? And...
Very similar. I mean, there's small differences, but very similar. I mean, these.
You really missed out on an opportunity to have the same receptionist at all
Right.
of these places. Yeah.
Ah, shit. Kim, you're here too?
Kim.
Fuck. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that was Jim, my cousin.
The gig economy before the gig economy.
So the Hall of Records is a kind of like public domain place. So you guys can go through and look at certain things that are allowed to be there, really. So you walk in. There's a clerk at the front desk. It's a young man, probably like late teens, little pimply face, pretty scrawny. Just in his time till he gets to go home for the day.
Brandon walks up and he goes, "Young man, there's no need to feel down. I said, young man, pick yourself off the ground. I said, young man, because you're new in a new town, there's no need to be unhappy.
How'd you know I just moved here?
Well, you look like someone from out of town. Also, you don't have a ridiculous accent like I do.
Yeah, that's kind of a weird.
Which actually should
accent.
make you from this town. If
I know,
remember.
literally from JFK. Boston. So he kind of looks at you a little weird at your accent and the words that are coming out of your mouth.
So, you got any records on the Corbett house?
Yeah. Hold on. And he just like gets up and frumps to the back of the room and
Frump.
frump. And he starts going through some files and finds a file that matches the name Corbett and brings it up to the front for you to look at.
Brandon's going to pass it back to Dr. Ritter because he's better with all these words.
I will. I'll use my word skill to understand these words on the page.
All right, roll a word check.
All right.
Literacy check?
So yeah, you open it up and you see that there are civil court records in there about the Corbett house and Walter Corbett's will. And the civil court records show that the executor of Walter Corbett's will was Reverend Michael Thomas, the pastor of the church chapel of contemplation.
Hot dog.
And
murderer
and
extraordinaire.
our Lord, granter of secrets.
We'll find Agent Drox. You were right. We found the missing link. You want to rub it in my face or something? Good job. Yeah, I tell everybody what's in here, and that this seems pretty obvious. I guess the question is, do we turn in what we know at this point and be like, this is a very scary place? It's almost certainly has something to do with this particular church, or do we go there?
Maybe we stop by, report back to him, but then I think we should probably make haste.
Yeah.
I don't know what everyone else thinks.
I mean, it doesn't hurt to ask questions, but honestly, we're just wasting time. If we just go to the house, we'll probably learn more than we would about all this with all the paper.
But maybe Mr. Barnes can tell us something about, or what we can get in exchange, because I don't know, our quarry has become more dangerous.
I think you're just really trying to become a real magician.
Yeah. Let's go to the house. I mean, I think we know who the spoopy people and like what the bad stuff here is. I guess so, see if we can catch him.
Before he leaves with Brandon, turns to the guy and he goes, young man, there's a place you can go. I said, young man, when you're short on your dough, you can stay there. And I'm sure you will find many ways to have a good time. But I forget the name of the place. And then he
He claps 3 times.
But
That's
then he
ridiculous. I'm having a conversation with this young man.
Sorry, the tone and the way you were saying it sounded like a song.
Well, that's ridiculous. That song probably wouldn't come out for another 50 or so years. 52 years.
But the place you're talking about is real.
So no, the great Capini remembers. I remember when I was down on my luck. There was a young men's Christian association that took me in.
I've never heard of that establishment.
Oh. Okay.
All right. So
This entire time, Hazel's just like rubbing
Yeah.
her temples and just like,
And
what the
editing
hell?
that part out of the
Yeah.
show.
we
Get
cut back to
myself
Hazel, who
into.
left a while ago
Yeah.
and is actually at the house already. But
She's like,
Yeah.
where is everybody? What are they doing? This is ridiculous.
tapping her foot.
We said 4 o'clock. It is 4:05. What the fuck?
Should we be armed?
I mean, I always have my gun on.
I mean, we are.
I mean, I assume Hazel may still have her gun.
I've got my scalpel.
Hazel always has a gun.
I was gonna say, I think you still have the one I gave you, so like I hope you didn't lose that.
Now she always has a gun.
Yeah.
Yeah, because 2 of you have guns, right?
Yep.
And Dr. Ritter has a scalpel with a knife.
Which is, and also the gun that I'm pretty sure Hazel has is Brandon's former partner's service weapon, if I remember correctly. Like that I took off
Yes.
the thing. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no. So we might have
I think there's there might be
3 guns. Yeah.
Oh, awesome. I have a police gun.
Well, doesn't Kabini have 2 guns? Because he had a Derringer, then he had his bullet catching gun. Didn't he have 2 of them?
I think you're right.
Yes.
But I think he had his own before. I am
Yes.
quite unskilled with guns, so like that's just not my steez.
You shoot Hazel.
I didn't say
Okay.
Capini was
Hazel
good
shoot
at
back.
shooting guns.
But he has a gun.
He just has a lot of them. Well, America.
Watch as I transport this bullet from the gun to your body.
I didn't even see that happen. It's like a magic trick.
Pow.
Thank you for listening to part 1 of this story. This is Call of Cthulhu, and I'm going to have the outro be the same for both this part and next part. But I just wanted to let you know that this is where the story is ending for this week. If you want to continue and see what happens at the house that we're going to, you need to come back in 2 weeks to listen to part 2. I really hope you're enjoying the story, and if you did like it and you haven't listened to the first game that we played over on Four Corner Games, please go check them out and check out all the details in the descriptions down below if you have any interest in any of the other people that have participated. Thank you so much for listening, and have a great one. Bye! So where can we find Four Corner Games?
We're all over the place. We have our own podcast, which is the Four Corners Games podcast, which is where episode 1 can be found if you are so interested. In addition to our podcast, we also have...
Yeah, we have our exotic wood dice trays. So if you go to fourcornersgames.com with the number 4, we make and sell our own line of exotic hardwood dice trays with premium leather rolling surface. They are very nice. We all use them here at the podcast. We got one in the hands of Nikki for the New Year's giveaway.
Oh, it was so nice.
So that's floating out there too. So yeah, hit us up on our website and our social media too. We're on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter at Four Corners Games
with the number 4.
With the number 4. And yeah, that's where we're at.
It was so nice, and the person who won it was super, super happy.
Yeah, they tagged us in it and they were stoked.
Yeah. See, they seem like great people. I'm glad it went to awesome people.
And what about Play Quest Pod?
Yeah, and so I'm Nick, and I'll also sign off. You guys can check us out at PlayQuest on any of the kind of places that you get your podcasts. And we're currently doing a play test of Tenor Bancho with a bunch of like crazy anime action.
Well, thank you guys for joining and letting me do a second game, because the first game was a lot of fun. So I was very excited to try again.
Yeah, hope you guys had fun on this second one, and I had a lot of fun. I'm hoping you guys did too.
Yeah, it was awesome, man. Thank you.
Super, a fantastic amount of fun. Thanks, man.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, you guys can find us wherever podcasts can be found, and you can check me out on Twitter at BeholderToNoOne. And if you enjoyed this episode, please go check out the first episode. If you haven't listened to it, what are you doing? This is out of order. But you can also listen to all the other one-shots that we have done on the show, or our actual play, Behold Clear Light, which is on every other Thursday. So thank you so much for joining, and bye.
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 Bye.